All right, friends, I believe you're able to see the screen that I'm sharing. All right, so sorry about that little pause there. Apologies. So welcome everybody to 360 Digit MG. My name, I'm Nitin Mishra. I am associated with 360 Digit MG for the last, from its inception. I am one of the senior persons in the organization. I am mechanical engineer by qualification. I have close to 18 years of experience in the mechanical engineering field, and close to 7 years now I have been a data scientist and a trainer with the organization, and I'm doing a lot of trainings in the space of corporate, in the space of classroom trainings across India and certain parts of the world as well. So that's briefly about me. And to know more about the offers that we are having with reference to the programs being offered in 360 Digit MG, please do visit our website. We are also currently offering free programs, skill under the aegis of Skill Next, where we are trying to, skill close to 1 lakh people in this calendar year, and we are going to be conducting repetitive programs. So please be watchful of the our website, where we'll be giving up links. One batch has two. The second batch is in progress. So if you want, you can register, and then for the sessions in June, you can probably join. So that's something you can do. Nevertheless, coming back to the topic at hand, which is how does one do the resume building, and not just the resume building, but also what are the methods or avenues by which we can make a success of this particular job search. So let's start. So one thing you must understand is it is not one way or one single channel with which we are able to, get the success. The success depends on multiple channels. All right. So we'll have to look at, we'll try as part of the agenda in the next 20-25 minutes. I'll try to explain to you how you need to use multiple channels to make a success of your career. So what is the importance of the resume? What is the importance of the social media platforms, types of interviews, and also the do's and don'ts of the interview. So let's begin. Once again, this particular session is brought to you by 360 Digit MG, a training institution, and Innodatatics, which is the development arm of the same company. So students who do their training from 360 Digit MG also get to do projects from Innodatatics, which is a company based out of America. All right. So the most effective hiring channels currently, I mean, in no specific order, all right, are these. These are the predominantly. So in certain organizations, they prefer In certain organizations, they prefer employee referrals, because if somebody is referring, the accountability also comes there. Today, one of the biggest problems being faced for even slightly experienced people with 2-3 years of experience, getting people, is to have them stay back. All right, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, less than a year, people are jumping jobs, and people are jumping jobs after the first job, if they are not getting into the likes of probably Infosys or TCS or Wipro or things like that. Okay, so they are most probably going to work in some startups, and they are going to keep jumping jobs for probably 3, 4, 5 to 2 to 3 to 4 years, and it's not surprising when you have professionals, in 3 years having changed 5 jobs. It's totally commonplace today. Unlike probably in my father's time, where you get a job and then you retire from that. After retirement, if the company offers you an extension, you take the extension and then continue there. So that is not the case. So employee referrals is important because the accountability or the responsibility of the person to stay back to certain extent will be with the person referring. So therefore, if a person decides to quit halfway, this employee would definitely be in a bad shape. So only the people who are going to stay will be referred. Then, of course, we have the personal network with which you are connecting with the various people on predominantly LinkedIn or connecting with the HR, etc. And then, of course, the social media, LinkedIn is what we're talking of. And what are the methods by which the companies hire? Once again, a good amount of data is taken from your social media presence, predominantly in the space of um, you know LinkedIn, but of course Insta and Facebook also. It is more so. I mean, the Insta and Facebook is something that is predominantly used for after the selection process has been, not the selection, after the shortlisting process for trying to evaluate the person. This is predominantly used. So that is one thing. And then we have the external sources, the sourcing firms, referrals, and the pipelining. These are some of the things that we are creating. Right. So I'm assuming most of you have heard about the Great Resignation. All right, the not Indian, but Great Indian Resignation. Right. So where people are leaving left, right, and center, which is creating a vacuum in various profiles. So thankfully, today is the time that you need to. I mean, jobs are plentiful. Trust me when I say that. Uh, I don't really need a job, but thankfully, because my profile as part of that, I keep getting some or the other mails and genuine mails, almost 3 to 4 mails in a month, all right, for various positions. So it is a good time. We have jobs, but at the same time, it is not something that is like a buffet where you can simply go and pick it up. All right, you need to be worthy of that, right? While that's the precisely the reason why the amount of jobs, the number of jobs available in the market is only increasing. It is not getting filled up in spite of the huge population that our country has. All right, and that is where we need to work on. So let me just quickly uh, tell you. So sending out a resume, which is predominantly talks about uh, very fundamental stuff about where you are from and why did you graduate and which school, which college, which PG, if you have done a PG, which computer course, which things. Very fundamental stuff, interest, playing cricket, etc. is old fashioned. It is more than these kind of resumes are 20 years old. Nobody really bothers about them. All right. If your resume does not have your photograph, if your resume does not have your skills mentioned in some kind of a metric, if your resume does not talk about your achievements, does not talk about references, if it does not talk about certain activities that you have done which have actually contributed to the development of your previous organization, or if not, if you are a fresher in your school or college, I mean, what is your leadership skills? How is it that you're able to look into that? So these are some things that if you now have to mention in your resume, only then it will be done. So what I shall do is I shall quickly show you an interesting, this is again a sample. You can probably check it out for yourself also. So you can simply say Elon Musk resume. All right, when you Google it, you will have the resume of Elon Musk. It's taking a little longer time. Yeah, there you go. Same. They have used the Elon Musk template to talk about the resume. This is an interesting thing. So obviously this is not his resume actually. While it loads, I'll come back to that in a moment while it loads. All right. So how the resume should be? Remember, less is more. All right. If you're going to give 6 pages, 7 pages detailing every project of yours, in enormous detail, people are going to stop reading beyond the second page. All right. And then the crux of it or the essence of it is going to get lost. All right. So therefore, keep it, keep it short, keep it simple. All right. Then, of course, your LinkedIn profile, most important. All right. We are living in the world of the digital. We are living in the digital world, and your digital footprint. Everybody is interested in knowing what and what you have done. All right. And it's pretty simple to, if you are applying for a job and if they look at your profile and everything that you've ever done from the time you've started on the LinkedIn is visible. That's the whole purpose of it. So if I, as a recruiter, am going to look into it and you have been active only for the last 4 months or 2 months, and you have on an average 4 to 5 posts you have liked, you have shared, you have commented, you have done something or the other, it is pretty much evident that 2 months back you got that big, you know, big lightning thing that I need to desperately get a job. So let me start. Somebody told me LinkedIn. So let me left, right, and center compensate for maybe 1, 2 years of neglect by cramming towards the end and pulling it up. It's very easy to catch that. So if you have not done it, I'm sorry you are late, but at least you will give it your time. All right. So be judicious in your LinkedIn profile. If I tell you today that your LinkedIn profile, you should start liking and commenting, don't do 20, 30 likes, comments every day. All right, left, right, and center. That is also known, that is too much. All right. So an ideal kind of a scenario is that means you are spending too much time on LinkedIn to be able to see 20 posts and do that. So an ideal number of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 posts a day. And if as and when you get in a senior position, you should be doing the same thing per week, maybe 3 to 4 posts in a week. And those posts should be quite detailed. I mean, something that you really think about. All right, if you are responding to somebody's post with a response, the response should be interesting, nice, insightful, rather than that. All right, rather than simply saying interesting, I agree, or insightful, or the standard one-liners or one words. If you can actually draw parallels, if you can actually look into, read that, and then probably Google something and spend some time and probably write. While I agree with you, there can be situations wherein the person, something, I'm just giving you, somebody talks about how happiness and uh, let us say somebody has made a post about work-life balance and how it is important, and you should be able to say no to your boss even if he calls you on a weekend and say that I will not work. Now almost everybody will say I agree, but if you take a contrary position and say that while I agree with you, yes, we need to have a work-life balance, but there are times when somebody has to raise above and try to take extra load so that the company prospers. Once in a while, if you do that judiciously, then you should be able to do that. Let's not be very, very strict with reference to the timings. A comment like that will garner, firstly, a lot of commentary. Many people are going to reply and argue and not argue with that. And a recruiter is going to obviously like it. So the sum and substance is your LinkedIn profile is something that you cannot fake. You cannot simply say, let me like and share, like, do all that. You cannot fake. You will have to get into the depths of it, all right, and do that. Fine. Next, we are obviously doing this in the perspective that many of you might have done or planning to do or doing the data science, artificial intelligence training program that we have done. So this particular session is entirely in the technical front. All right, it is not for kind of a generic kind of a job, or let us say school teacher. I'm not trying to put them in a lesser position, but this is predominantly in the IT space that we are talking of, right? So given that, you should have what is called a GitHub repository. If you do not even know what GitHub is, I'm sorry, you are too late. GitHub is a repository where any work that you do, you can save it up. That is something like the technical version of Facebook where you can share it. People can know, okay, this person has done this work. Once again, you cannot fake it into the GitHub repository. You cannot really one fine day decide that within a month I need a job. Therefore, let me left, right, and center put 3 projects, 4 projects, 5 projects every single day in GitHub. People are going to see through it. All right. So a GitHub repository is time stamped. So on January, you have done 7. On February, you have done 6. On March, you have done 12. On April, you have done 15. On May, you have done 12. So if there is some kind of a consistency, if you are having about something, at least a 6 month to show for, that is where you will be able to do that. So why the discussion of how to prepare, how to get the jobs is being done today, the fruits of your labor for whatever activities or whatever suggestions I'm giving is something that you will be able to see after 6 months. You cannot grow a banyan tree in a month. It takes generations before a banyan tree can grow. But we don't have that much time, but yeah, you will have to give 6 months time to that. The next, and not as popular as GitHub and Kaggle, is the Quora. All right. So how are you active on Quora? Are you Googling certain questions on Quora? Are you a registered participant in Quora? Are you posting something on Quora? Are you responding to questions on Quora? All these things will go a long way into creating a profile that this person is somebody to deal with. Kaggle is a forum for competitions, and if you can have less than 500 rank, all right, less than 100 will be like amazing, but less than 100, you don't have to really bother about all these things that I'm talking of, because you will get calls. But otherwise, try to participate in as many competitions as possible. Try to whatever you do on Kaggle, try to put it on your GitHub and say, these are the things that I did on Kaggle and these are the results I did. Whether you are ranked or not ranked, that's a different issue. That itself will show of your activity. All right. So, like I said, once again, 3 to 6 months of activities you should be able to show. Now, the least important and most dangerous, I'll repeat, the least important and most dangerous forum is Facebook. All right. Least important because people don't really look at the Facebook to hire somebody, but they will look at the Facebook to make a judgment of whether or not a person selected should be hired. Now, if your Facebook is filled up with trivia, your Facebook is filled up with posts that are, not up to the mark, not professional. If you are having strong opinions regarding certain aspects, if you are a big supporter of, for example, I'm just giving communism, or if you have very strong opinions against or for the Russian-Ukraine crisis, and if you strongly post it like that, if you have strong opinions about, the Trump administration or the Biden administration, and you strongly have post things like that, remember, these kind of strong preferences and opinions is something that an HR person would be a little wary of. They may say that this kind of person is not somebody that would be good fit for the organization. This person is going to be highly political, highly agitated on certain things, and he's not the neutral kind of a person that we want. Therefore, even though he is good, let us look for somebody else. That's the thing that is going to happen with. So, like I said, it is the least preferred tool for HR professionals. But if there is something incorrect, that is only going to pull you down. So your digital footprint has to be very clean, has to be proper, all right, because anything and everything that you say in any forum is going to be permanently recorded. So if not, be careful, at least from this level. All right. So having said that, that is kind of the gist of everything. So what should your resume contain? Now, I'm assuming that most of the people watching this are the people who have freshers, because those are the people who are, that it's a very interesting paradox, because as a fresher, you have the entire world ahead of you. You have everything and you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. But at the same time, the the gain that you're going to get, the jobs that you're going to get, is going to take time because of, again, the paradox of, we need to experience people. How will I get experience if I don't get a job? So to compensate for that, you need to have some kind of internships. You need to have some kinds of training. You need to talk about your skills while in college, having conducted, probably if you're a debating team, or if you have conducted a cultural festival, or you've conducted some seminars or webinars, the intercollegiate seminars, paper presentations. If you have done all that, have you been part of that? Have you taken some leadership positions? These kind of things are going to, compensate for the fact that you have no experience. I have seen, LinkedIn profiles where a person who has connected with me, who's graduating in 23, but if you look at the experience, he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 lines of experience. The person who's going to graduate in 23, all right, while he's mentioned, while in school he was part of this, he was part of the, you know, the relief fund. He was a volunteer for the cyclone relief fund in this area, and he's given a small 3-line page, what the 3-line, not 3-line information about what he has done. Okay. Similarly, while in college, what he has done, while in the internship, the second or third year internship, what the person has done. So many things, so beautiful. I mean, if you miss out on the fact that the person is going to graduate in 23, you might think these are experiences. So those are some of the things that you need to ensure you put them. Ensure that you don't put anything that is incorrect or false, because trust me, I am a recruiter myself. I do a lot of interviews, and I can catch a fake resume from far away. All right. And I'm able to catch up because there are certain aspects that HR people and the recruiters will know. So don't mention academic projects unless and until you're fresher. Don't mention training details. Always try and talk about the things that you have, try to learn on your own and try to do that. For instance, Kaggle and etc. All right. I also had once a person, connect base with me on LinkedIn. And then he sent me a private, and after I connected with him, he was looking for networking. He was looking for suggestions and employment. Of course, I forwarded his resume to somebody. So after I accepted his connection request, because we had a lot of common connections, he sent me his URL. All right, obviously it's a private thing. I don't want to share it because without his permission. So he sent me a URL, which was, he had used it, where he had talked about the chronology of events. I mean, he had a photograph of himself, his date of birth, and then you keep scrolling, and this key events in his life. And then that the first 15, 16 years was pretty concise, pretty less. Then at the age of 18, 19, his 11th, 12th standard, intermediate performance versus his graduation, first year, second year, third year, three lines, four lines. All right, then project work, and all those things in very great detail. And in the side, he had put a road map, actually a road. All right, and the side, vacations, visits, experiences, photography. When you click on photography, that opens a separate link which shows about all the photographs that he has taken in a private repository. So I was floored. Honestly, I was floored. And it does not take too much time to create such a thing. All right. I was totally floored when I looked at that. And I obviously passed it on to multiple people. I could not follow it up with what really happened. But that is going to be a major differentiator between a simple PDF document that you're going to send versus a URL. Now, not everybody may take. He also had in his website, it was not a private, a WordPress website, he also had a link where one could download the PDF version of the website. So you can understand how, as a fresher, that person has definitely much better chances of getting selected, um, you know, um, for the job. So I'll wrap it up by telling you about what one must do in the next 3 to 6 months. All right, be very cautious. You are in the public. All right, you have to be very careful about your appearance. Right, when you are at home, you may be wearing shorts and t-shirt, but when you go out, you wear proper clothes. So on similar line, when you are in LinkedIn, you are outside, right? You are not sitting at your house. So what you comment, what you post, what you like, uh, what you strongly talk about, what you positively talk about, should reflect about the persona that you are. All right, and try to use that particular thing and create a persona that this person is already a data scientist, though the person doesn't have a job. And if you do all this, you are good, you are gold, and you can definitely kill it. But have patience. What I should say is, don't lose heart, never lose heart, and always have patience. There are a lot of jobs. You just need to come up to that skill levels before you get the job. So all the very best once again. And just a reminder, this is from 360 Digit MG and Innodatatics. And we conduct a lot of programs and training programs. Please do visit our website. Please do like and subscribe to our channel.